Jackie, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Watch this
This is a difficult situation. It's one that has created a lot of emotion in our community, our state, even our country. And there's a lot of conflicting information out there right now. And so we want to get our viewers the most clarity we can this morning. DHS says that when Dr. Roberts was arrested, that he did not have work authorization and that he was in the country illegally. When the district hired Roberts in 2023, was it the district's impression that he did have work authorization, and what was his immigration status at that time?
This is all new information, and we are seeking the facts just like everybody else is. When the superintendent was hired, I was not board chair, but we retained a search firm, did the background check, just like the state of Iowa and Governor Reynolds and the Board of Educational Examiners did their license check. And so we followed all of the proper procedures, and now we have to wait for the facts to unfold because it seems that there's not legitimacy around that right now.
I think a lot of people are asking, how did this happen? How were there no red flags that popped up? Is there anything specifically you want to say to address those concerns?
There were no red flags. This is an individual that has worked in multiple states, that has served on boards, that has been a superintendent before. And so we followed all of the steps in the process, and now I think we have to wait for the facts. And the facts are what we anticipate Dr. Roberts' attorney is going to obtain when he is able to obtain them from the detention facility and ICE.
Is there anything that could potentially
let's
change
just pause
going
this right
forward
away,
in how the district vets?
Or right now, because look, here's the thing. I mean, me personally, I don't buy this for a second. If I were to speculate, I would say that it's very possible that at least someone knew about this and they chose to ignore it because, look, I'm going to be delicate when I say this. In today's political, socioeconomic climate, it looks a lot better to hire black people and women than straight white men. Especially someone who is an immigrant, I cannot imagine that was not worth something to how they look. And this is the thing, you can say I'm being racist, you can say I'm being shitty when I say this. These people are shameless. They do not care about the quality of the education that they're giving. They do not care about any of that. They want to look good. That is the only thing they give a fuck about. Looking good. And that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing with this. Is they want to fucking look good. And one of two things happen. Either they knew about this, which I think is the likely answer, or B, they are so inequipped for their job that they can't even scope this out, where they're like, okay, hey, maybe somebody who, doesn't, didn't go through all the hoops that we expect our superintendents to go through, they fucked up. They either really fucked up or more likely they knew about this and just decided to kind of push it under the rug. Or be like, maybe work on it, right? They gave him the position. They're like, hey, maybe work on this thing. And later in the video, she goes on to blame ICE for not notifying them. It's look, if you were if let's say you were a private school superintendent or principal or whatever, and you hired a teacher who was a pedophile, and it comes out later that they're a pedophile and they were arrested for being a pedophile, would appropriate response be, well, the police didn't tell us that this man was a pedophile. They should have told us that this man was a pedophile. What? No, it's your fucking job. This is your job. This is part of your job. You're not even a teacher. You're on a board. You spend your whole days being in meetings and doing paperwork. This is literally your fucking job. You're not like a teacher who's like, oh, my spare time, I need to figure out how to hire this. No, this is your fucking job. And you failed. You fucking took an L, bro. Holy shit.
Employees.
Yeah, let's keep playing.
There is not, because we followed the process.
Is there potential discrepancies?
Jesus Christ. What the hell is going on? I'm sorry, guys. Technical issues. Apparently, KCCI doesn't want us to...
This is a man whose paycheck was late.
KCCI doesn't want us to watch this, apparently.
To do on those background checks or different types of background checks or coordination with. Is there anything that could potentially change going forward in how the district vets employees?
There is not, because we followed the process.
Is there potential?
That is like Kamala Harris level being like, would you change anything from the previous administration? No. And this is what I mean. These people are shameless. They're not even willing to take accountability. Would you do anything different? No. No. It's not my fucking fault. It's not my fucking fault this happened. This jackass did this. ICE didn't tell us. This is on us. We shouldn't have to change how we hire people. What? All these, parents who are, concerned. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Discrepancies, though, in what that process brings up? I mean, is there more potentially in the future to do on those background checks or different types of background checks or coordination with the federal government?
I think this is sparking a far broader conversation than just Des Moines Public Schools. And I think it's really important to point that out, because citizenship is clearly so complex. And so the thing that I think is really important to remember,
it's really not that complex. I know people who have come to this country, and it's not that complex.
I say this because I know our students are
like he got notices. This wasn't like something that he didn't know. Look, this man wasn't surprised when he got pulled over. Clearly, okay, he knew they were coming for him. He got notices. He took a position knowing that he wasn't able to work. This wasn't complex, okay? This was pretty black and white. But no, if she said that, Jackie Norris wouldn't be taking any kind of accountability, so.
Watching this, we've got 30,000 students that are going to return through our doors on Monday. And I want to make sure people understand that as the citizenship process works its way through, we also have to assure that, these are human beings. And so two things can be true at the same time. And so as we're having these conversations, it's important that, yes, the citizenship process, we need information, right? It is not acceptable, and we cannot allow that to happen. So we need to find out why, just like I'm sure, Governor Reynolds and the state is trying to figure out why, because we both are in the same situation. And at the same time, we also have to move forward and lead our district, right? And make sure that our students and staff are prepared to return to the classroom on Monday.
This is one of the most softball interviews I think I've ever seen. But
I want to talk about Monday, but first, just one other thing. I think because the timeline has been,
and she even kind of presses her, which is kind of shocking, honestly, for KCCI. But it's kind of like after COVID, when they kind of had to, they were like, oh shit, we've really fucked up, so we need to at least make it look like we're pressing. I mean, she's doing the same thing. It's almost kind of. But it's like Jackie Norris is almost just batting away every time. It's fucking wild.
A little bit confusing for people. He was hired in 2023.
Correct.
It wasn't until 2024 that an immigration judge gave him that deportation order, though the district has said it was not notified about that deportation order. Is there an agency that's supposed to reach out and notify? I mean, just help people understand where that communication
It is a great
error,
question.
Right?
I mean, we were never notified. We found out on Friday just like everybody else did. And so, again, broader conversation, I think a conversation for ICE, a conversation for the federal government and how it chooses to notify people and if they notify employers. We were never notified.
Now,
they notified him. What if you got to tell your family and friends too? Come on, man. But No, she can't admit that because then it would fall on her. Then she would be the problem. Then she would be not just her and the board, whatever. They would be admitting that, oh, we fucked up. But see, this is the thing. The government can never do that. They can never actually admit that they fucked up. They always have to pass it off onto someone else. And this is what's happening right as we're watching this video clear as day.
Well, as you've brought up, our students are watching. This has been an emotional moment for the community. Students are going to be returning to classes on Monday. What do parents and students need to know?
Yeah. So I'm so proud of our interim superintendent, Matt Smith. In partnership with him, we directed that communication, regular communication, goes to parents, goes to staff. He's convened the staff already. And the messages that we want to make sure is that parents are comfortable having conversations with their child about this, and that teachers are too. And look, I think what we have to remember is that through the lens of children, this is somebody that they saw in their classrooms that was sparking energetic conversations in their classrooms. And so we have to make sure to acknowledge that Dr. Roberts is a human being, and at the same time, there are discrepancies in his citizenship status that we are navigating through.
We know that there may be some walkouts planned in DMPS high schools. What is the plan for the district to handle potential protests as they pop up this week?
Yep. So the staff has had that conversation, and it's important to balance, right, creating the conditions for learning and also freedom of speech. And so I feel very confident in the staff's ability to navigate those two things, and they're prepared to do so.
And honestly, we can just end it on that. I think that was like. That was really all that. I think that really solidified my point in terms of like not being able to take any sort of accountability or truly answer any of this woman's questions is like, okay, what are you going to do? Very straightforward. Like, what are you going to do about these walkouts? And she literally just said, we're going to balance free speech and the value of learning, which is just nil. So, I mean, and really what you're saying is like, okay, first of all, you're going to trust the teachers the same way that you trusted this man to do everything the way that he was supposed to do it. Which again, I mean, face value I don't really care about, but like, all these other teachers that she hired, they probably had to, be citizens, be able to work. He did have his education and all that, and he had experience, but like, shit. I mean, if a teacher didn't have a license, if they're like their ID was expired, like that would be a problem too, right? So, she's just going to trust those teachers the same way that those other people are trusted, right?